through your freedom.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
Is there any doubt at all, that our country's gone to hell in a handbasket, as my dear old mother would say, to hell in a handbasket with all the crap that's going on? Well, we have a gay pride month where you celebrate putting your dick in a guy's butt. You've got, every ridiculous excuse for a holiday or a celebration or a fucking riot. Well, today is Juneteenth, folks. It is Juneteenth. And in celebration of Juneteenth, the Buffalo Bills are helping create a new gay flag football team. How about that, right? Here's a happy Juneteenth to you. If we want to be honest about Juneteenth, that's the day the Republicans finally beat the Democrats and freed the last of the slaves from their Democrat plantation owners. But, Juneteenth, such a marvelous day, such a noted day that no one can actually remember what day it happened on. Wow. But back to the Buffalo Bills. They're creating the NGFFL. I guess that's the National Gay Flag Football League. This is just more evidence that shit has hit the fan and we're going down the wrong road. One, I don't watch the NFL anymore. Two, I will not watch the NGFFL. I mean, aren't there enough homosexuals out there chasing other guys' asses that we need to see it now with a football in the mix? I can imagine, the ridiculousness of this. It's off the hook. It really is. Pandering to 1% of the population is ridiculous. But hey, folks, happy Juneteenth to you. By the way, it is Wednesday, the Juneteenth. So get your questions down below, and we will get to you after I do my monologue, after I cover the first half of the show. We got one heck of a lineup here today. I have talked numerous times about Democrats who've been arrested for, campaign finance violations, embezzlement, cheating, fraud, lying, stealing public funds. But we finally have a Republican prosecutor. Oh, been indicted, a Georgia Republican prosecutor, no less. 24 felony counts, folks. Know how much this woman has stolen as a public, shall we say, servant? $4,200 in public funds. And they're charging her with 24 felony counts. Now, I do agree that she should go to jail because she's a public servant. She's stolen and she's an attorney, a lawyer, a scumbag. Oh, also spent $17.35 at a Dollar Tree. Now, didn't we see some other Democrats who were accused of fraud, embezzlement, cheating, lying, lawlessness across the board, and got out with no penalty at all? Found guilty, no penalty. Well, number one, this white woman who's a prosecutor and a Republican is incompetent. She only managed to steal $4,200. Democrats steal millions of dollars from their offices. I mean, Fannie Willis, did she or did she not? That's right, fat ass, fawny Fannie Willis. Didn't she use public funds for a hotel or some sort of sleeping quarters, that she could meet her boyfriend at? Didn't she get all kinds of jewelry and gifts? Didn't she go on vacations and such? Interesting, no? Yeah. Yep. Fannie Willis, still in office. Fat ass Fawny. Wow, folks. The Democrats are amazing, are they not? I mean, they're incredible. Democrats are incredible. In fact, a Washington Post columnist has the reason, folks, gives a batshit crazy reason why Hillary Clinton should replace Kamala Harris on Biden's ticket. I mean, I think that's fantastic for America to go from cackles to cankles. I mean, literally, as if people like Hillary more than the idiot herself. I mean, what's the choice if you're a Democrat? You've got Pinocchio, the president. I mean, the man can't open his mouth without a lie coming out or a bunch of consonants and verbs just tripping over themselves to get out of his face, right? And then in the vice presidential seat, we have evil or the idiot. Evil, idiot. Idiot, evil. Democrats have great choices in front of them. They sure do. But you got to know, you've got to understand why they want to put Hillary into this position. It did not require debates. It didn't and don't and wouldn't require voting. It's just put her in there. Right. Biden is shot. We all know he's shot. That is not Joe Alfred E. Newman Biden any longer, if it ever was. So what they want to do is have, well, Hillary put on the ticket, and then Biden just trips on his shoelaces at the top of the stairs, chokes on his ice cream popsicle stick on the way down, right? Gets tangled up in his tricycle at the bottom, wheels out the door, down the stairs, and chokes on a hot dog and dies of cerveza bug. So everyone needs to go get the newest Jim Jones juice. But seriously, they're going to try and put Hillary back in. She is the most awful, corrupt, nasty human being. I mean, it really is a toss-up, is it not? The Clintons back in the White House? Leave the Bidens in the White House? Put the Obamas back in the White House? That's their choices. And it's going off the hook. Americans are rejecting all of this, folks, all of it. The left, the Democrats, they understand. And the World Economic Forum understands, and the banking cartels understand. The Democrats have gone so far in destroying this country that it doesn't look accidental. Not in the least. It looks more than intentional. And the people have had it, folks. In fact, I want to give you a good story. This made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, like I just had 2 or 3 shots of really good scotch. Local citizens captured, tied up, and beat the tar out of the illegal alien who was busted for raping that teen girl in New York City. Now, I agree with what happened completely. There needs to be instant, swift, and relentless justice for criminals like this bastard that did that to that little girl. And I think that this should stand also as notice to evil judges, cops, politicians, lawyers, and bureaucrats. And also big tech executives and banking executives. They need to watch and learn the lesson for being criminal and caught by pissed off Americans. I think this is the start of something good. You can bet your ass these people will run to the police to get thrown out of the country as Americans turn on them. It's happening in Ireland. It's happening in England. People are waking up and saying, this is not the way this country is supposed to be. It is crazy, folks. It's crazy, but the left will continue their lies. The left will continue their lies. From the smallest lies to the biggest lies, right? Small lie. Well, actually, for the Democrats, there are no small lies. But here's a really nice little white lie at the White House. A reporter collapsed during a White House a press briefing, a press conference. It was being, televised live. So the idiot in chief, and I'm talking about the press idiot, Karine Jean-Pierre, blamed the fact that it was kind of hot in there. Really? People pass out in the White House because it's not cold enough for them? I think we know that more booster shots are needed to fix the White House press corps. Yes, indeed, folks. Biden, his sycophant administration, the sycophant media, and folks, how about the sycophant Biden voters? Biden voters to me, are criminals. They're out there amongst us every day, folks. It's not just in Washington. It's not just the media or the bankers or anything. It's everywhere, Biden voters. Now, I'm going to read a headline, and then you tell me what party the criminal votes for. Here we go. Headline: Father beats the hell out of an Uber driver after finding him sexually assaulting his daughter in the backseat of the car. So, a young woman goes and gets in an Uber thinking she's going to get a ride somewhere. Uber driver accosts her and tries raping her. Dad shows up, beats the living shit out of him. He should have killed him. I think we're going to see more of that as well. What party does the Uber driver want to be in the White House? Now, this is incredible, folks. The left is continuing to choose evil, perversion, pedophilia, rape, murder, destroying America, ignoring the Constitution, burning the Constitution, destroying our monetary system, destroying our energy system, everything. Unbelievable, folks. Well, in England, they could do something we could not do here. That's right, folks. In England, in England, they have Stonehenge. In America, we don't have Stonehenge. But they're climate extremists. They're climate terrorists, folks. Went to Stonehenge and vandalized the shit out of it. Right? It's anywhere from 3,500 to 10,500 years old, Stonehenge, depending on who you listen to. But they're mad about global warming. They're mad about climate change. So they decide to destroy something that's been around, whether it's art, statues, or even just big, giant freaking rocks. But all these people do, in every case, is guarantee more hatred of them. I watch videos of these idiots stopping traffic. People get pissed off. Their spouses need to go to the hospital, or family members. They've got to get to a job, a flight. Very important. People are tired of being held up. They're now getting out of their cars, picking them up and throwing them off the road and kicking them in the head. It's not going to get better for these people. They need to get the fuck out of the way. We're well aware of their belief system. We're well aware, I would say, of everything they say and think. And we just don't give a shit about them. The alternative, right, is what? Well, if you don't use clean, burning natural gas to cook with, you're cooking with firewood. Firewood, which burns very cool, puts lots of soot and carbon in the air, causes people to choke and get lung cancer. But I'm sure the climatologists would like that, people are dead. They drive around in their EVs thinking they're saving the planet. They're burning coal to power those EVs, or they've got diesel-powered generators at charging stations, literally charging their car using coal or using diesel. And I've even seen these EVs pulling a mini trailer going down the road with a gasoline generator on it. You know why? Because they know there's no charging stations, because Joe Biden has screwed that up and not spent the money where it was supposed to be spent. And so they pull over and charge their cars with a gasoline generator. Folks, hatred for these idiots isn't strong enough. But that's the left. That's what they're pushing for. They are idiots, folks, absolute idiots. Now, what's funny is some of the smarter ones, And I'm going to use the word smarter. Okay. We've been talking about people who donate money to the Democrats are now donating money to Republicans and Trump. Right now we have another fundraiser switch. Another former massive, major Silicon Valley fundraiser has switched, backing Trump. They raised money for Obama. That's how radical this idiot was. And I'm going to continue to call her an idiot. Now, her name is Allison Huynh, Huynh. She says Biden has been asleep at the wheel. Fox and, this is what she told Fox and Friends first. Right out the gate, Allison is a moron and demonstrates it. Biden has not been asleep at the wheel. He has been wide awake and intentionally following commands and orders and signing where he needs to. He's not been asleep at the wheel. He's doing exactly what he's being told to do. Now, let's listen to Allison continue, because she is a Silicon Valley mogul, Silicon Valley millionaire, Silicon Valley big shot. She says he's allowed big tech as well as the looters to take over Silicon Valley. San Francisco has been the science experiment that's gone awry. I wake up in the morning, there's no grocery stores to go to. There's no malls to take my teenage girls shopping to. It's incredible, folks. Let me just stop. I got to stop right there. There's no grocery stores to go to. Really? The Bay Area has 40, 50, 60 million people living there. How many people live in the Bay Area, which is San Jose, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, North Bay, Marin, Oakland, Alameda? I mean, well, maybe it's only 20 million. 20 million people can't go, but then it really comes out. There's no malls to take my teenage girls shopping to. She wants, that's her priority, going and getting food and then taking her girls shopping. Well, it's a lot worse than that there, sweetheart. She does continue, though. She says, the streets are not safe. There are more fentanyl users and dealers than high school students in our once great city. Well, whose fault is that? Right? Whose fault is that? Well, Gavin Newsom is actually more responsible for San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and all the failures in California. But I'm going to allow her, folks, to blame Biden. And she should also blame all the Democrats in Sacramento. And she should blame Obama, who she put in office. See, they want to switch now, folks. They're realizing there's no place to go. I mean, I guess she and her two teenage daughters can move to Texas or Florida or somewhere in between those two. But she's just not going to feel comfortable with that, is she? No, she considers San Francisco to be a once great city. But now there's more fentanyl users and dealers than students. Well, I'm sure Miss Multimillionaire sends her daughters to private schools. But folks, this is it. You can see the shit hitting the fan. It truly is. Now, that's California. Democrats, they want to commit crimes, steal, confiscate, embezzle money, cheat, lie, steal to get elected. And then they let criminals on the street murder people and get away with it. They bring illegals across the border. Tell me shit hasn't hit the fan. Until, it gets so bad that they can't escape it. Well, folks, down in Argentina, where they elected the chainsaw, that's his name, Javier Milei. The chainsaw is going to implement in his country hardcore laws, folks, for security purposes, national security, public safety. And they're actually inspired by El Salvador's Bukele because of criminal gangs there and his techniques he's used to round them up. Folks, crime shouldn't pay. It shouldn't. And in Argentina, they're going another step further. They fired a shitload of government employees. reducing government cost and waste and red tape, encouraging economic activity, and now he's going to go after the criminals. I love it. Crime shouldn't pay, folks. But Democrats, in order for them to commit crimes, well, they need to keep us distracted with crimes on the street. Crazy stuff, folks. Justice is better than tears of loss. But as shit hits the fan and it gets worse, there's going to be tears everywhere. Remember when the Democrats scream and cry for a safe space? They want safe spaces. Show me safe space. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music, for the the flag. All right, it is Juneteenth, folks. Juneteenth. Well, Juneteenth, to celebrate the freeing, supposedly the moment, the day of, whenever, right, of blacks being freed from slavery. Well, what about America that is now under attack? We're paying an incredible amount of tax. I believe the Pharaoh made the Israelites pay 20% tax. Well, I think you and I know we pay far more than that. So I think we're all slaves. And we're slaves to the, you could say, our masters in Washington, D.C., who have opened the border up to allow an invasion. In fact, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, came out today and denied any responsibility for the illegal aliens who have crossed the border and murdered people, and specifically the mother of 5, Rachel Morin, in Maryland. Mayorkas callously denied. You know, they don't have any accountability for folks. No accountability. He is a total sack of shit. Everyone in Washington, D.C. that wants this and has said they like this open border policy, they all need to be charged with accessory to murder for openly allowing and facilitating entry of our country to murderers and rapists from around the world. And it just is going to get worse. Now, yesterday I said, hey, we need to start calling these illegal aliens who are criminals here to lie, cheat, steal, thieve, and murder and rape. I called them Biden's people. Well, Wayne Root, a national syndicated columnist, says that he has a new name for Biden and the Democrats. He calls it the Liars Club. I think that's great. We all need to call it what it is and who they are. Anytime you see an illegal, that's Biden's people there. Anytime you see Democrats, that's the Liars Club, because that's what they are. The illegals here are Biden's people. They're Mayorkas's people. They're awful, awful, terrible people, folks. And it's not going to get better with them. It truly isn't. Are you ready for more? That's what I want to know is, are you ready for what is coming with these people? Right? Every chance they get, they're going to do something, and it's not going to help us out. I tell you, it's incredibly upsetting, right? Now, you heard, because I talked about several days ago, a doctor down in Texas. It's illegal in Texas for hospitals to engage in child sex change, affirmating care, meaning cutting their genitals off, mutilating them, giving them drugs. It's illegal in Texas. So a doctor, as a whistleblower, turned in the hospital. Turns out a nurse did as well. And so, well, they're pressing federal charges against the doctor for obeying and turning in the hospital. Whatever happened to turning in criminals as a good thing? Whatever happened to see something, say something, right? A big FU to the FBI, an FU to the Department of Justice, and an FU to the Attorney General and his office. The FBI has been weaponized, folks, and they're going after moral Americans for obeying their state laws. And they're trying to claim that, well, you're releasing information about the patients. No, they're turning in the hospital. Well, Biden sends his weaponized FBI to intimidate a nurse now who has blown the whistle on Texas Children Hospital's sex change program for kids. And folks all over Europe and around the world now, doctors are speaking up. Psychologists are speaking up saying, this is completely wrong. This is not how you solve problems. Mutilating children, fucking them up forever, destroying their minds. Just unbelievable, folks. And it's going to get worse. It will. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Any better at all. All right. Mr. Uman is in the background. He's got the big blue wrench. We got a lot to talk about. I sure hope you're prepared, folks, with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. I've been inundated with emergency alerts. I don't put a lot of creed in them, folks, but a lot of this Q stuff is coming back. They're really pushing this Q. Let Q handle it. Q's got this. The plan. Last time everyone fell for that. They didn't get out and do enough. They thought, well, the plan's going. Whatever the plan is. Right? The plan. Well, the plan got Trump out of the office of the presidency in 2020. Don't buy the plan, folks. Go vote. Volunteer at the polls for the election. Get involved, folks. Get involved. And encourage your, shall we say, political representatives at the state and federal level to obey their oaths. Now, in Congress, the representatives of us that are Republicans and believe in freedom and liberty, justice and peace, right? They have introduced a resolution without Senate approval, and they're trying to nullify subpoenas for Bannon, Navarro, Scavino, and Meadows. And they want to declare the January 6th committee illegitimate. I tell you what, folks, start the political cannon fire. Call these people, your representatives in D.C., and tell them to support this. And I think the January 6th committee isn't just illegitimate. I believe it's criminal. And they need to be indicted for, shall we say, the mischaracterization of evidence, the withholding of evidence, and then the destruction of evidence. Just because you're in charge of a committee doesn't mean you get to obstruct justice and lie and cheat and destroy criminal evidence. The crime I'm speaking of is what happened on January 6th. 4 Americans were murdered. Roseanne Boyland was beat to death by cops. Right? We had a man thrown off of the upper balcony down onto the steps below by the police. Somehow he lived. Crazy day, folks. Crazy days. It has hit the fan, and hey, happy Juneteenth, because we have to have our priorities right. Huh? All right, let's do this. Holy cow, that half hour's up already. Let's do it. Let's go to the inner circle on this beautiful Juneteenth. Woo! And we're back. Mr. Uman says we got lots of stuff to talk about, and I have barely scratched the surface. Anyway, let's roll. Mr. Uman, who wants to step up first? And it's name redacted. And he says, did anyone hang their stockings, light a candle, and arrange some ears of corn? No, I did not, because the corn is not ready for harvest. Oh, hang stockings, light a candle. To celebrate, folks. How do you celebrate Juneteenth? I know how to celebrate the July 4th. I read the Declaration of Independence. I make sure I have a barbecue ready to cook some meat. In fact, there's a over in Plant City down there in Florida. The waiters and waitresses, because waiters have penises and waitresses have vaginas. The waiters and waitresses wear a shirt that has their most popular review on it, and it's 1 star out of 5, and it's written by a vegan. Says they don't have any vegan dishes, and it's a barbecue place. That's right, meat, barbecue, meat, barbecue, meat. So a fucking vegan goes to a barbecue and complains and leaves a review of 1 star. Morons. So July 4th, yeah, you celebrate fireworks. You flip the king off. You flip off the governor. You flip off the government everywhere, right? That's the point. We're free. We had to get into a war to free ourselves in 1776. Guess what the date is, folks? It is 1776. Our first battle is going to be this presidential election. The next battle is going to be chasing the fruitcakes back into the closet. The next battle is going to be capturing all the illegals and throwing them out of the country. Then we're going to have to capture all the fruitcakes in the Pentagon and throw them out. We got a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of work ahead of us. Christmas, we know how to celebrate Christmas. New Year's Eve, don't go out drinking because that's amateur night. Halloween, dress the kids up like your favorite character and make fun of them. And if you want, you should wear blackface. And if you want, you should wear whiteface. You know, white powder. I don't care. We'll pick a color. This I'm offended at everything. In fact, folks, this whole N-word thing is getting out of hand. Now, apparently, if you say the N-word, you can get killed for it. Not just yelled at, not just beat up, killed. I can't remember where the guy was at. I think it's Chicago, Mr. Uman. I think it's Chicago, right? His neighbor called him the N-word, so he shot him. Was it Chicago? Did you catch that this weekend? Well, anyways, it's just ridiculous. Talk about being fragile. Talk about being weak in the head. Call me any name you want. Let me give you a few of the names I was called. Albino, Ghost, Casper, Cotton Ball, Whitey, Cracker. Did I say Ghost yet? or Casper the Ghost? Snowman, Snowy. Oh, man, you want to call me some names? Go right ahead. It's just incredible, though, right? I've been called what? A Nazi, a neo-Nazi, a skinhead, a white supremacist, Hitler's wet dream. Look at their names. Crazy stuff, folks. Juneteenth. You're free of all that. Why just be free of slavery when, in fact, people still act like they're enslaved? They still act like they're being held back. They're doing it to themselves. I think we talked about this the other day. I said, if you're intelligent, you see that you have more value. You see the value of educating yourself and then using that education, right, to make yourself more valuable to others so they want to hire you and pay you more money, and you become free of the Democrats and their plantation. Well, I think Juneteenth should be about getting out of the Democrat Party and taking responsibility for oneself. Crazy business, folks. Happy Juneteenth to you. Uman says there was a video today that said, oh, good golly. Yes, there was. There's 10 ways to say the N-word without saying the N-word. And Uman says, how do we keep up with that list or even what's on it? Well, let me give you some of the words. If you're talking to or about anybody who is black or brown, if you say thug or thief or lazy or ghetto, trying to remember all 10. If you say those referring to a black person, that's the same as saying the N-word. Now that video was done by a fairly attractive articulate sounding black woman who had a very nice, soft voice. She had her makeup on, her hair done. She was very polite, but she wanted to let you know, white people, that you're still a racist. And if you say anything like that, like, well, that dumb son of a bitch is lazy. If he's black, you just called him the N-word, right? So if you say the word, you're just bad. Isn't it incredible, folks, how Trump, understand this, Trump is having the black community that votes flock to him. Last I checked, Trump is orange, not black, right? They want to support him in the country that he wants, that I want, that you want, a free country, that is. But we're seeing on the other side this call to arms, to anger, to violence coming from Democrats who want black people upset, pissed off at whites, committing acts of violence, right? Riots, burning, looting, stealing, murdering even. That's what there's just, it's, the difference to me is stark. Constantly accusing everyone else of being a racist is crazy. How can a word be that bad? Like I said, I've been called every word you can imagine. And the word Negro means black. The country of Niger, right? But if you got those letters mixed up in a certain way, it's extra bad, and it deserves a beat down. I don't understand these thinking. I just don't get it. A beat down. I guess we'll see where this leads, folks, as we get in closer to the election, as shit hits the fan gets worse. They're going to want riots. They're going to want race riots. They're going to want terrorist riots. They're asking for it all, folks. The Democrats want it all. Not only that, they want World War III. Have you noticed? They actually have a draft now. And apparently, Mr. Uman has let me know that women aren't included on that. Am I correct yet? But they want to. You don't know? Do you know?
No, everybody is saying that this draft thing has happened and women are going to be drafted, but this is just a bill that was proposed and nothing is passed yet. I don't know if it specifies that they will be eligible for combat roles or anything like that. All I know is that they have a bill out that says they want to reinstitute the draft, and that women will be included in that.
Yeah, women won't be infantry frontline combat. I think for them to get there, it's still not advisable. I don't think it's very smart at all.
Nope.
Great. It's just dumb. Bad mistake. I don't want cowards. I don't want weaklings. I don't want dipshits on the front lines. Right? It just gets people killed.
Right. Plus, I mean, there's even the other issues about the differences between what happens to a woman versus a man if they're captured and everything else. I mean, there's a lot of issues. Even if, the woman can go toe to toe with a guy, one of those rare unicorns, she still doesn't belong on the front lines and to be put in those kinds of situations.
No, I'll say the words because you didn't. But yeah, a woman in a combat zone will be captured and raped to death.
Yeah.
Period. It's just how it goes, especially with these freaking terrorists over there. Just not a good move. And then men do stupid things around women already. And folks, rape in the military is a huge issue. It was when I was in. It still is an issue. Now I bet you have gay rape issues. Gays do not belong in the military, period.
No, I will agree with that as well. And if you put a woman who cannot meet the standards without the standards being reduced, you're putting everybody else in that platoon at risk as well. So there's a multitude of reasons why that should never happen.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. But yeah, it's they want the war. They need it. They want it bad. I mean, Biden has promised what? Billions over the next decade for Ukraine to keep fighting, as if they can keep fighting the Russians for the next decade. It's
ridiculous.
Thank you. Thank you very much, you man. Happy Juneteenth to you, man.
Happy Juneteenth.
All right, let's continue if we shall. We got all kinds of things to talk about. Lots of fun. But where do you draw the line on using the words that need to be said? Now, Chin Music says, I stepped in it today on Facebook. Hey, Chin, did you get a strike? Did you get censored and have your post removed? Did someone call you a dirty name? Well, let's find out. He says, had a fun exchange with some angry fruit salad tossers. But I repeat myself. And yes, I won the internet today. Nice. Yeah, they don't like being questioned or told they're immoral, or you know what? Never mind the morality question. How about just the sanity of it all? The question of mental delusion. They're sick in the head. I mean, right now, across the nation, fruit salad tossers, freaks, perverts everywhere are scared to death of states that are trying to pass death penalty for child rapists. Okay, let's listen to the words again. If you rape a child, you get the death penalty. So now the LGBTQ crowd is saying, we can't go to those states anymore because they're going to kill us. No, only if you're a child rapist. You see, folks, they instantly equate themselves and what they are and what they do or want to do with the law. Now, if they're just a harmless, no problem, I'm just happen to be a gay person or a whatever the hell they are. If that's all you are, then you're fine. But of course, they want to have sex with children. I'm going to tell you this story again. I've shared it in the past at least 3 times. My father's girlfriend, this is over 20 years ago, had a daughter. She was in 6th grade. And they had 20 plus years ago. Yeah, it would be 20 plus years ago. Probably 25 years ago. They had 2 homosexuals come into their rural classroom to speak to the kids. And I have no idea why they allowed this or invited it 25 plus years ago. But the gay people said, we think about sex all the time. And right now we're thinking about having sex with you kids. Remember? And this was reported to me, right? By the girl in school. And then several years ago, I think this is 4 or 5 years ago, there was the gay choir from San Francisco saying they're here for our kids. They're here to take the kids, convert the kids to them. Do you remember that shit? And they're like, oh no, that's just a joke. And then the next year we start seeing drag queen story hour with kids in schools at libraries. We get into this huge, massive push for sex change, gender change operations for children. It's not just a lifestyle, folks. It's a belief system. It's an absolute belief system. I tell you. And Chin Music sent me a question on the backside. He says, isn't giving a holiday to people who don't work pointless? Exactly, right? If you don't have a job, you need another day off? Really? Right? Crazy stuff. Crazy, absolutely crazy stuff. Oh my God, that was... thank you for the meme there, Chin. Uman says, that Stonehenge stunt even pissed off a bunch of leftists. True. It did. It's pissed. They're pissing everyone off. Folks, the ridiculous race. Yeah. Race baiters playing the race card. That's also using the N-word. If you tell any person, any black person, that they're race baiting or using the race card, that is the same as the N-word. Okay, I think I'm up to 6 or 7 on that list of 10. Basically, anytime you address a black person, if you don't kiss their ass, suck up to them, if you say anything that they find offensive, then you've just used the N-word. So now everything is the N-word. And to the leftist, right? I don't think there's any end to their stupid either. They're only happy if they're pissing everyone else off, even their own people, right? We have the LGBT crowd, the queers for Palestine, and the real Palestinians are like, we'll throw you off the fucking roof, right? They're just idiots, right? They're absolute idiots. And now they're upset that criminals are starting to come into their neighborhoods and rob them, right? Well, you invited them in country, dumbasses. It's just not going to get better, folks. It just isn't. All right, Mr. Uman. He's right to name redacted. He says these roadblock people play the run back in the road game. He says, I say keep a roll of duct tape with you, place them on the shoulder with a note like Spider-Man. Well, I tell you what, I am not going to have to deal with that in Florida. If you stop me at a road sign, at a street thing, it gets stupider, folks. It does get stupider. I think you ought to be able to pick them up and drag them out of the road and beat the shit out of them because they have caused a loss of time. People could be getting injured and hurt. They're jeopardizing safety. They're violating the law. They should be arrested by police. In fact, I saw a video of a Texas, you guessed it, a Texas Ranger with his siren going, went up the right side of the road, cut across back into the road, hit a bunch of left-wing shit that was parked on the road, hit a trailer that was parked in the middle of the road. Trailer spun around and hit a leftist idiot. He whipped his car around again, came out, drew his gun at everybody and screamed and yelled at him to get on the ground. They arrested the fuck out of him. And the film was actually taken by left-wing idiots. They're like, did everyone see what he just did? Did you just see how he broke the law? Right? We're going to get his name and his number. And then they're arrested. It was some funny shit. Some of them will run back in the road. Well, that's when I think you ought to be able to detain them by whatever means necessary. I've had it with these fucking people. And if they were to lift a finger, if they were to take a hand or a device or a tool and tap my vehicle, whether it's a work vehicle or my personal vehicle, I can run their asses over in an attempt to flee their attempted murder of me. Because that's what it is. These people want to kill us all. They're idiots. Anyways, over in, I think it was England. Now the radical asshole Muslims are taking their prayer mats and going out in the middle of the road when it's time to pray and lining themselves all up and facing Mecca and praying. Now, I don't have any problem with you wanting to pray. If you're at work, you don't get a prayer break. Sorry, right? You get a break on your own time, not when the magic thing called. And this loudspeaker that plays over the whole city, the call to prayer, should be illegal. It's distracting. It's just fucking stupid. It's not the culture. It's not the law. That's their law, folks. If you want that, go back. Go to Mecca. Go to Saudi Arabia. No one's kicking. Go to Egypt. Go back. If it's so great, if Sharia law is wonderful, if your culture is amazing, go back. Go back. Crazy. It's just a crazy world. Okay. Juneteenth in Badass Diving Frog says, John, stupidity today is so thick you can spread it like frosting. We are now to the point, folks, where I can recommend the movie Idiocracy. It was once considered a satirical comedy. I now consider it an accurate forecast of the future and also a documentary. Idiocracy. It's an incredible movie showing the stupidity of these idiots out here. And it's not going to get better. It just isn't. It is not going to get better. How many cultures are there, folks, that are civilized and have a high standard of living where they hadn't figured out for themselves the wheel or how to build a dwelling out of something other than either cow shit or mud bricks? What a world. There it is. Hey, Mr. Uman, what shall we talk about next? And Uman, who's participating on this Juneteenth, he's showing his love for getting out there. Uman says, saw a great compilation video on X today. Twitter, X. I still can't stop saying Twitter. But a great compilation video on X today showed headlines from every country saying that country is experiencing the highest level of global warming in the world. Propaganda, lies, and bullshit. I mean, in England, they filmed a woman going to a public fountain and putting water on herself as if she was burning up, 78 degrees. I've seen the maps, the weatherman maps. They used to show, let's see, England is 65 and it's green, and France is 75 and it's light green, and then they go down to the Riviera there in the Caribbean and it's 85 degrees, and they would make that orange. Now they show the map and they've colored everything orange and red and dark red. Same temperatures as 20 years ago and 30 years ago. They just now show the colors that we equate with hot and emergency for the same exact fucking temperatures that used to show green, light green, and yellow. Tell me there's not an agenda. Tell me there's not an agenda. And the idiocracy, folks, it is real. Absolutely real. Okay. Let's keep going, man. Ooh, man, what else have we got rolling out there? We got, whoa, shoot, we're down less than 10 minutes already. Now, Walmart, Ooh, man's continuing. He says, wow, just saw that Walmart is going to roll out replacing pricing stickers on shelves with electronic labels, which allow them to change pricing instantly, like surge pricing. They say it's so that they can reduce prices when items are approaching expiration. But experts predict it will be used for things like raising prices on water and ice cream when it's hot outside. Or say there's a hurricane coming in Texas or Florida or anywhere on the Gulf Coast. They can raise prices on water. Let me ask you this very important question as we contemplate the world today in SHTF. How many things have done by banks, massive retailers, or the government that has made your life better? Name something they've done that has made life better. Value meals, $12 to $20 for a value meal. Is that better? Really? Right? Shutting down our petroleum pipe projects, exploration projects, production projects. How has that made our world better? Remember when the banks said, hey, you do direct deposit and we'll cut you some slack. And then they raised their fees. And then they said, hey, if you do this debit card, we'll reduce your monthly fees, right? And they just raised the fees again. Every time you do something they want you to do, it costs you more. It doesn't save you anything. Now you go to a bank, you're lucky if there's a bank teller in there. You go to get your money out and they say, hey, you don't get to have your money, not so fast. I talked to a friend the other day who wanted to make a cash offer on a car. Went to the bank and said, I need my cash. And they said, well, we don't have $10,000 in cash for you. So my friend was told, you have to order the money. So my friend orders the money. They have the cash and still had to answer a bunch of questions and say, well, what are you going to do with the cash? What's it for? Why do you really need it? You know, I mean, the 20 questions. And then when my friend got to the car dealer to make this cash offer final, the car dealer said, well, where'd you get $10,000 in cash? What are you doing with so much cash? Where did you get it? How did you make it? Is this your money? And it's incredible, folks. There's nothing that government or corporations or banks or hospitals now. Go to the hospital. Another friend of mine, had a grandson born. Well, the daughter said, no, you will not vaccinate my baby. And I'm taking my baby home. I am done. I've spent a couple of days here at the hospital. Everything's fine. Everyone's healthy. See you later. The hospital did Child Protective Services to follow them home and start harassing the shit out of them for having a healthy, normal baby. Hospitals, are they your friend? I don't think so. Not seeing it. Not seeing it at all. Boy, I tell you what. Okay, Mr. Uman, let's do it. What do we got? Where are we at? I don't know. And it's Chin Music. He says, imagine the science project you can come up with off the couch cushions and sidewalks in San Francisco. Oh, that is just awful. It really is awful. The science projects, right? You could open one of Dr. Fauci's biological weapons research labs by opening an office in San Francisco and scraping the sidewalks and scraping the park benches. Right? Imagine all of the drugs you could get. I mean, and I don't mean to make light of this, but I'm going to make fun of this. Have you seen the drug addicts on the streets of cities like Baltimore, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Chicago, Detroit? Have you seen these drug addicts? They just whacked out of their mind. They're just laying on the sidewalk. Men, women, half-dressed. They're destroyed by drugs. But bring in the illegal immigrants. We need more of that. Let's ignore the drug addicts. They're all mentally deranged. It's where does this end? Right? Chin, you're down there on the border dealing with healthy scumbag criminals coming across the border who would do God knows what to you if they had the chance. It's just not going to get better, folks. It's not going to get better. Well, I tell you, let's do this. Let's see what has happened. Let us see what has happened since we started this show. What news has popped up? Oh, former Democrat Arizona Attorney General Terry Goddard. So this is a former Attorney General, says that the governor of Arizona, Katie Hobbs, had a $400,000 bribery scheme. And this former Democrat says that warrants a criminal investigation. What I'm going to ask is, why isn't this criminal investigation already off the hook, rolling down the road, picking up everybody along the way and having her arrested? Unbelievable, folks. And the White House, folks, has now slipped up, and they put a label, and they're now calling Kamala Harris Madam President. Madam President. These people are out of their minds, folks. They're drunk with power. And as far as I'm concerned, they're drunk on the blood of patriots and saints who fought for freedom and liberty, not only in 1776, but every war since then, and everyone who has ever paid taxes to make this country livable and even lovable. We're having it stolen from us, right? Joe Biden can't even climb into the presidential SUV without fumbling. It's hit the fan. Are you prepared? Are you ready for the violence that's coming? Are you ready for the hard times that are coming? Do you have 2 months worth of food, or 6, or a year? Do you have your strategies in front of your plan? Remember, you may have a year's worth of food, but if everyone else is not getting food, they're going to be asking questions if you look fat and healthy, right? Get some strategies in front of you, right? How to protect yourself, how to lay low, how just everything you can, folks. We'll talk about that some more later. We'll talk about it some more later. For now, I'm going to let you go. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi means always faithful, and God bless America.